My name is Ronnie Michael, certified public accountant, and this is the Personal Finance Playbook. Improve your finances, improve your life. The title of today's episode is This Salary Puts You in the Top 10%, Understanding Income Levels in America. Americans seem to have a very poor understanding of how much money people are making in relation to the general population. Would you be able to say what salary puts you in the top 10%? The top 1%? If you make $100,000 a year, what percentile does that put you in? How about if you make $1 million a year? Okay, maybe you're not feeling too confident about answering those questions. How about this? Do you think you'd be able to give an answer that's in the ballpark? I.e., could you give an answer that isn't way off? Unfortunately, if you're like most Americans, the answer is that no, you're not going to be able to give an answer that's in the ballpark. In January 2022, YouGov surveyed 1,000 US adults and asked them to estimate the percentage of Americans that fall into certain demographics. Specifically, the survey asked, quote, if you had to guess, what percentage of American adults, and then presented a demographic. This was a wide-ranging survey with questions about money, sexual orientation, religion, race, and other topics. Before we get into the results, it's important to note that this wasn't some hasty online survey with the built-in bias. I'm sure we've all come across videos interviewing regular people out in public where clearly only the most cockamamie answers made it into the final cut. According to its website, YouGov is the most quoted market research source in the world. And Pew Research Center has said that YouGov consistently outperforms competitors on accuracy. Regarding this specific survey, responses were weighted according to gender, age, race, and education based on American population data collected by the Census Bureau. So I think we can be pretty confident that the results accurately reflect the country. All right, so let's get into the results. At the top end of the income spectrum, we can see that Americans widely overestimate the percentage of wealthy people in the country. They estimated households earning over $1 million to be 20%, when the true percentage, when rounded to the nearest whole number, is actually zero. Similarly, Americans estimated households earning over $500,000 to be 26%, and the true percentage is 1%. Americans think 1 out of 4 households earn $500,000 a year, when in reality, the number is 1 in 100. Surprisingly, Americans are pretty much spot on for estimating the households earning over 100K. 38% estimated, 34% actual. But when we get to the lower end of the income spectrum, the delusion creeps back in. Households earning over $50,000, 50% estimated, 62% actual. Households earning over $25,000, 62% estimated, 82% actual. There are some more whoppers on this list, but they aren't finance related, so we will steer clear of them. In summary, this survey doesn't really inspire a whole lot of confidence. Let's dive into the data some more and try to spread some accurate information about salary levels in America. The US Census Bureau conducts an annual American Community Survey that, among other things, includes salary information. 2023 is the most recent data set available. What was the average salary in the US in 2023? The answer is $73,977. But keep in mind that this is an average, so the salaries at the top end of the spectrum disproportionately drag the average up. The median salary is probably a better measure of what the typical American makes. The median American salary in 2023 was $55,000. This means that 50% of Americans made a salary below $55,000 and 50% of Americans made a salary above $55,000. A salary of $89,000 puts you in the 75th percentile. In other words, 89K puts you in the top 25%. How about the vaunted six figures? A salary of $100,000 puts you in the 81st percentile, essentially the top 20%. What does it take to get in the top 10%? $140,000. And lastly, what does it take to get in the top 1%? The answer is $380,000. Hopefully, this exercise has shed some light on income demographics in America. Everyone seems to be living in their own bubble today. People vastly over index what they see in their everyday life, their neighbors, their workplace, their social hangout spots, and their Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube feeds. This can be downright dangerous and lead to widely inaccurate representations of how much money people are earning. What do you think? Does this apply to your life? Leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.